right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks and hockey season and everything that goes with non-football playing here in the Washington DMV area. But I'm Jim Hobbs, and down below is my carnivore co-host, Brian Dammits Forsythe of the band Kix and the European tour band Rhino Bucket. Brian, you want to introduce our friends and guests and people that you got on the keto bandwagon tonight?
Yeah, we've got Karl and Bob. Karl
Mr.
and
Rogers.
Bob.
It's Mr. Rogers. This is his neighborhood.
Rob.
Here the night.
Rob. Sorry.
That's all right.
I was thinking,
He's stressing over the European tour.
Yeah.
well, your last name's Rogers, and I was like, is the first name the same as the last name?
We call him Ro for short, but well, hey, welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again.
No, thanks. And you guys have just been doing awesome, and you guys are constantly sending Brian and I updates and where you guys started, where you guys are, and so it'd be pretty cool us going into No Carb November that we're really highlighting, hoping people would join us in this this mission of getting healthy. But why don't you guys tell everybody who's watching this program how it's impacted you, but more importantly, how it's impacted your significant others and what they are experiencing during this transformation. So whoever
Well, the No Carb November, was that your idea or Captain Carnivore? I thought I saw Captain Carnivore.
Captain Carnivore came up with that. We're teaming up with him, and we love to spread that message around the world.
That's a great video he did the other day.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Karl and I started this because of Brian. Well, I didn't start it because of Brian. I started it because of Karl. Karl started because of Brian. So I kind of got pulled along for it. But Karl started like the 1st or 2nd of May. And then he told me on like the 4th. And so on Cinco de Mayo, I started. And Karl just, he can sell ice to an Eskimo. Basically what he did is he sold me this whole thing about how easy it was. And, any numbnut could do this. So I was like, well, I'm in. And I'd been trying to intermittent fast, and it just wasn't working because I wasn't doing it right. I was doing like 16 hours in 8, or maybe I do 18 and 6. And Karl's like, we're going to do 20 and 4. And I was like, have you lost your mind? Nobody can go 20 hours without eating. And he said, we're going to do 20 and 4. And by God, that's exactly what we did. And throughout the whole thing, we started the beginning of May. He and I have been literally either 1 or 2 pounds apart as far as weight loss goes this entire time. In fact, right now I'm 56 down and he's 57.
57.
Wow. Hey, hold on a second. That deserves.
I'm the closest I've been to my high school weight since high school. And that's actually because I got this close. I'm actually going to shoot for 165. And if I hit it, that's my high school weight.
And he's sending me all his old clothes. So, I'm happy
he's
about
still
that.
bigger than me.
My high school weight was 1 pound over my crackhead weight.
What was that weight?
Well, on my first driver's license, my weight was 120, and at my bottom, I was when I got to jail, I was 119.
Oh my God!
Wow, got to jail. That's fucked up. No, I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Well, we're gonna be beeping that out.
No,
that's a hard one for me to
say
swallow.
Jail on this show, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to see Brian in jail. I'm just like, what? That doesn't sound right. This guy's a rock star. Open a damn cage and let him out.
I don't want to see you in jail, Karl. That's for sure. They'll love you in there.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
they'll be using my hair as reins.
The entire time. He throughout the whole thing, we've been 1 or 2 pounds apart, and then I'm not sure if Lisa started right when Karl started. Crystal started a month or 2 after me, and then she was on fire. I don't think she really believed it in the beginning, that it really was a healthy or good thing to do, but she just kept hearing me, yap about it, and she saw the pounds going off, and I think she just got a little bit curious about it, and she does what she refers to as a dirty keto. But whatever it is, it's working. She's down 35 pounds. And Lisa's down 30 pounds. Our friend up in Baltimore, musician Jackie Joyce, she's lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
And she's doing this diet exactly. In fact, Karl and I had only been on the diet for a week or two. I was in Oklahoma when Jackie got in touch with me. And I was walking into an AT&T store with a phone that wouldn't work. I was getting ready to throw it right through the window and say, you can take this back. I was so mad. And she popped up on my phone. And I just sat out there and we just went back and forth for like an hour. And when we were done, she said, wait and see how much weight I lose. And she's lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
So, yeah, buddy of mine, Bernie Prevost, has lost 50. My friend Jim Griffin, I talked to him last night. He's lost 40 pounds. And that's just people that, are doing it or have been doing it. We've got a bunch of new friends that are starting it right now. So they're getting on board in the last, 2, 3, 4 days, and they're messaging Crystal. She's helping some of them. I'm helping some of them. So I wanted to give a big shout out to those people that are getting ready to start. My buddy Derek Turberville, he's a state trooper up in Tennessee, and I know he's going to absolutely kill it. Debbie Pickett, I went to high school with, been inboxing her a lot. So she's getting ready to start. We've got Roxanne Kolakowski. She's the wife of another buddy of mine that's was a Baltimore City cop. Lisa Hendrickson and Kimberly Harry. So I'm really excited to see what they're all going to do. And I like that with my limited knowledge that I'm still able to help people. I think that's really cool.
Well, I think the important part, and that's the part I'm having both of you guys on, is the fact that, and Brian and I say this all the time, like, it's your life lived out is the testimony that's going to cause other people to want to follow you and go, man, what are you doing? I mean, like Karl, 60 years old, dropping the amount of weight he's dropping. And you send me the pictures, and I'm going to post those on this episode so people can see the drastic improvement. Like, you guys look like you're back in high school, college days. You're running the streets of Baltimore, going to go to see the Hagerstown. I mean, go to Hammerjacks. But
hell yeah.
I mean, so it's just amazing. And so to see the number of people that you're having an impact on just by what you've done in such a short period of time, if more people would literally just break away what they've been programmed to believe in. And what most people don't realize is that, humans have been on this planet Earth for a very, very long time. And 99.99% of that time, we ate meat. We did eat grains. There wasn't no sugar-based milk or high fructose liquid drinks.
Or glyphosate. That wasn't around either.
Yeah.
Food coloring.
There was none of that stuff. I mean, and so it's really sad now that when you go to the deli counter or to the meat butcher counter, I mean, you literally got to now make sure you're actually picking up meat because they have the plant-based protein so prevalent through the meat counter now. I mean, seriously, you're in the sausage section, you literally make sure you're actually getting pork sausage as opposed to plant-based sausage. But the question that you have to ask yourself is, why are all these companies pushing this plant-based protein, which we all know is toxins to our body, and our body's not able to process it because our DNA is not that far advanced. There's not enough time that's taking place for our DNA to be able to morph and to be able to handle this new diet that's being pushed on humans. That's why when we truly get back to our ancient way of eating, our primitive way of eating, our body finally goes, oh my, I'm home. And
Right.
And then you guys experience the results, just like Brian experiencing the results, and the majority of people who try to go back to their roots of being a carnivore or even keto. But even the intermittent fasting plays a role with what the cavemen did. They gathered together, they went out, they hunted, they killed something, they came back, they roasted it over the open fire, and then they sat around and were lazy for the next 24 hours. And then they go, hey, anybody hungry? Yeah, let's go kill something.
Let's go kill something.
Give me a ribeye.
I've been wondering about that, Brian. You got some food that run around in your backyard. I know they're kind of like your pets, but
No, no, no,
man,
no,
you
no,
cook it
no.
right. Deer meat's pretty
Stop
awesome.
that. Don't even say that.
I do
You
eat
know,
deer, but not those particular deer.
okay. Well, I did it to my daughter. I got my buddy killed a deer and brought it to work, and she was a little kid. I said, "You want some Bambi meat?"
Jeez.
She
No
tore it
wonder
up and
she's
she
so
loved it.
traumatized.
What?
No wonder she's so traumatized.
She's not traumatized. My daughter's awesome. She's a great mom. Gave me great grandkids.
She's your little mini me. She looks just like
She
you.
is my mini me. She looks just like me.
So the reality of it is we have lived as humans the majority of our life eating meats and fats, and now all of a sudden a group of people have decided that fat's bad. Fat causes you to get fat. It clogs your arteries. And then we have this thing called cholesterol that they test, and they tell us that your cholesterol is way off the charts. We need to put you on this statin drug. So Rob, I know that's a fight that you're really focused in on. So you want to kind of tell everybody about that, and I'm sure
Yeah,
Brian will
it's interesting for someone like I don't know if it's so much Karl, but for sure me, I'm really limited on knowledge when it comes to eating right and health and all that. So I just watch a ton of videos, you know, the Dr. Berry videos. I watch those things all the time. And a lot of times it's the one that Brian puts up. That's what'll lead me to it. And then I'll watch a couple others while I'm there. So I'm learning, but I don't know enough to really be able to just respond yet off the cuff with people who are medical people. Maybe they're nurses. Maybe it's my mother. I'm not saying it is, but it could have been, you know, just these type of people who say, you know, son, I mean, Rob, you know, you're going to kill yourself with this high cholesterol. You know, you've really got to be careful. And I say, you know, the science has changed. It's not what it was before, but I can't rattle it off the way that Brian can. It's in my head. It doesn't come out of my mouth yet the right way because I'm still so new. But what I've noticed is that people that are new to it typically have two objections, or their friends, their critics are feeding objections to them. One's about cholesterol. This is bad because your cholesterol is going to go through the roof, and we know that's what causes heart attacks. And number two is that you're not getting all your vitamins and nutrients because you're limiting your diet and you're not eating, you know, you're not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. So I thought maybe Brian could kind of hit on the cholesterol thing because he's an expert on this.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I have looked into it quite extensively. And it was for the same reasons, you know, early on, you know, the doctors looking at my blood test and then wanting to put me on a statin. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know, I'm healthy. You know, why would I need to be on some kind of medication? So that's what caused me to look into it. And the first book that I read was it's called Keto Clarity. And who wrote that? Jimmy Moore was the co-writer. I forget the other guy, the doctor, but I just saw him mention that on a podcast, and they're thinking about coming out with an updated version of that because that's I forget when that book came out, but I read it way back in the early days, and but that really helped me just to get a rough idea of how cholesterol works, and then, you know, Dr. Berry in his book, Lies My Doctor Tells Me, you know, he talks about you know, everything that you've been told is wrong. You know, it's basically especially with the cholesterol, it's you know, the way that it's set up, even the blood tests that you know, the standard tests that they send you off to every year don't even cover you know, the important things. It's like I'm trying to think of an analogy for it. It's just like it's just a rough idea of things that, and you can't really pinpoint anything on one of those blood tests. And the only thing that the doctor looks at is LDL when it comes to the cholesterol, which is, you know, that's like saying, I can't, I wish I'm having one of those days when I can't think of
It's like saying you're overweight without asking someone how tall they are first.
Yeah. or yeah,
That's
over
that's
the
a great
phone,
analogy. That's a great
you know,
analogy.
without being able to see them, you know.
Or trying to tell someone they're going to build a house and all you're going to furnish them is doors.
Yeah. So the LDL, well, you could do with it if you have enough doors, maybe. But yes, the LDL is just one little piece of it, and you know, it's like
And within the LDL, there's more than one piece within
that,
LDL.
that too, and it's almost like it's the one number. Actually, it's because the only drug that there is, that's what it can affect. A statin only deals with LDL, so of course that's the only thing they're going to look at. They're not going to look at HDL because there's no drug that messes with your. I think they tried to come out with a drug that would raise your HDL, but it didn't work. So I don't think that's around anymore. But getting back to it, it's like you need to look at, and they do triglycerides, HDL, LDL, and then like total cholesterol, which means nothing. But really, you have
So
to look at,
HDL to be high versus low triglycerides. Is that the combo?
yeah, and you really have to look at those three things together. And you know, I think most doctors know this, but you know, it's like they've been you know, they're under the control of the
Big pharma and
well, in the insurance companies, really.
well,
And so they're not allowed to go outside of that little window of things. So all they can do is look at your blood work. They see this number on your LDL, and then they prescribe you the drug because that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, that's what they've been told to do.
You posted a
take 'em.
video recently. I'm going to say within the last month, a Dr. Berry video, and it was called something like this: one trick to save you from having a heart attack. But it was the pie chart,
Yep.
if you remember.
Oh
And
yeah,
he put the pie chart up without any labels on it, and it had the top 10 causes of heart disease.
Right.
And he said, I'm just a country boy with a medical degree, but my granddaddy told me that you always take care of the most important things first. And so you would think that in those first, the biggest three slices of pie would be cholesterol. And he starts filling in the slices of pie. And at the end, it turns out that cholesterol is not even in the top 10 causes. It's not one of the top 10 risks of heart disease. So it's a story that's never been corrected because too much money is still being made off of it. If it's not in the top 10 of heart disease, wouldn't you address maybe number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before you even worry about cholesterol?
right. But that's the first thing they go after.
Yeah, but here's the sad part, and most people don't know this because they've done such a great job of keep marketing with commercials, high cholesterol, and Big Pharma has done all these studies, and even back in the 80s, you know, I think below cholesterol was, I think, 240, and then Big Pharma did some studies and said we got to bring it down below 200. Anything below above 200, they're going to need a statin drug, and we can provide that for them. But you know, so that's what everybody hears. You get programmed from the time you're a child all the way to your adult, and our parents have been programmed longer than we have. So when they hear our cholesterol numbers, or we're eating fat, or we're eating steak all the time, or we're eating eggs every single day, their programming kicks in, and their auto response goes, "You're going to die of a heart attack because your cholesterol is going to be really, really high." And people say that because that's an autoresponder. But the reality of it is every cell in your body produces cholesterol, even your heart and your brain. You need it or you would die. And
well,
so,
it's made from cholesterol.
well,
Yep.
well, right. But even, and here's the part, Karl, you'll be with me on this. It's the framework. Cholesterol is the framework to make vitamin D and all your sex hormones. So
Right.
There you go.
Right. So, and then, so they lowered
My
that.
cholesterol's working great.
That's right. That's what I'm
Just
talking
ask
about.
Lisa.
See, Karl, that's what I'm talking about. So they want to get you to believe you got to lower your cholesterol. Then they're going to try to sit there and sell you a testosterone built-up package on this side over here. So Big
I'll
Pharma
tell you
tried
what.
to do everything to destroy you as a
Before
human.
May, I thought I was going to have to take that shit.
Yeah.
Before May, I thought I was going to have to get pills to get it working again because I couldn't keep up. It was like worthless. I had this gut that I'd get spasms in my legs, my back would hurt, everything. I would forget it. I just roll over and go to bed. I was like, man, that's pathetic. Because in the last couple of months, things have changed drastically.
And Carl's wife is like transformed. I mean, she looks great. Crystal is transformed. And Brian's girlfriend apparently being sponsored by Five Guys or something. I don't know. I saw something the other day.
Yeah.
Well, since I've been on the show, I've lost 10 more pounds.
That's
Wow.
that's
So
what I'm talking
I was like
about.
182
That's
last
great.
time, and now I'm 172. So I'm excited. Even though I have this fasting tracker that I have on my phone to keep track, and it had a BMI button. So I just punched it in, and they said I'm 20 pounds overweight still.
What? Really?
They said I should be 151.3.
You just
I
too
don't look
grow
like
tall.
Ahmed, the
You're
dead
overweight.
terrorist.
You're
You're
just too
right.
short, Carl.
Is
That's
that-
all. You gotta grow taller. Then you'll be okay.
How
I
tall
can't
are
grow
you?
taller. I'm short. But I'll tell you, I was playing with Dave's Motley Crue band. It was kind of fun to go on stage and be 50 pounds lighter than the next guy. It was like Tiny Tim and the Three Fat Bears.
I mean, Jim's talking about, the meat section, talking about sausages. It wasn't that long ago, Carl, you and I both looked like a bunch of pork sausages.
Yep.
So life is good now. We just
Yeah.
got a little spring in our step, bouncing all over the place, happy.
Actually, I
every-
did send Jim a picture of us looking like pork sausages.
But man, listen, that's like Brian says, that's not you anymore. That person has died. This is the new Rob. This is the new Carl. This is your new life, the new Crystal, the new Lisa.
I've never gotten rid of clothes before. I've got a
Me either.
freaking 55-gallon bag I'm taking to my buddy. It's all 36s and 38s. Rob's getting my 34s mostly.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my 33s because it's a small stack and they're rare. So I just kept them up in the attic.
Yeah. I used to
32s
keep
are down
clothes
here, and
too.
I have 31s I can move into if I have to.
I used to keep
So-
clothes too, and I gave them all to my buddy Jeff. He's a little bit bigger than me, so he got all my jeans, he got all my 2XLs, and I gave it all away. There's no way I can go back. I'll never go back. It's a health thing now. It's not about vanity or anything else. It's about health. The
Yes.
age we are. You keep messing around like this, screwing around and feeding junk in your body, you're going to get a great big surprise, and it's not going to be a good one.
Right.
It's
Yes.
funny you guys did the
I
same-
found things that are good.
Let's go
I was going
around.
to say there's stuff out there though. There's a lot of cool keto stuff that you can get. Like if you're missing your ice cream or whatever, there's a company called Keto, and they've got like a chocolate peanut butter bar. It's got like 2 net carbs or something.
How about
And
that
it
cake I
is
sent you the other day?
fire.
That chocolate cake?
The chocolate cake, yeah, that
Yeah.
looked good.
Yeah, we don't
There's
talk.
a lot of stuff like Quest bars. It's like having a candy bar after lunch. It's it's got caramel, pecans, but it's like 17 grams of fiber. 17 grams of protein and like a net carb or 2 net carbs.
I want to go up to Jim's house and eat
And
some of
they're
that
awesome.
keto pizza. The only thing is he'll make me watch the Redskins while I'm there. But other than that, I want that pizza.
It's funny you say it. I'm making that tomorrow night to watch the game with because but talking about throwing away clothes, Peggy goes, hey, can you take this bag out and throw it in the dumpster in the trash bin? So I said, sure. So I threw it out and I went back to work, and Zach in my office came back out. She goes, hey, did you know what you threw out? I'm like, no, what did I throw out? She goes, I got rid of all our clothes that we are never going to go back to.
Good for her.
So she goes, I've held on to them because I never knew, but 3 years is long enough. We haven't changed anything. They're going away. So you just threw away all our clothes. So, and it feels
Well,
good.
how
You're
about her
right.
story, Jim? How about Peggy's story?
Peggy's story is the same as mine. I think I've told this before, but back in 2006, I started doing Atkins, and I told her, I said, hey, I'm going to do Atkins. And she's like, okay. She's like, sure, go ahead. And she's, what is Atkins? And I said, oh, I can eat anything, but I can't eat anything that turns into sugar, and I can't have sugar. I said, but I can have all the eggs and bacon that I want. So literally, I love those 2 food groups. And so I literally just lived off of eggs and bacon. And when we go out, I'd eat just meat. And so at about
Sounds like
months,
me.
about 3 months later, she's just going, "You're really doing this?" And I said, "Yeah." So she goes, "Okay, well then I'm gonna, I guess I'm gonna join you." So she started cooking the way I was eating, and she did it. And for 6 months, she didn't lose anything for 6 months. But 6 months, it started falling off her. Like, I mean, it was just falling off of her. And then the next 12 months, we were just in a different place. Like you guys, we were just thrilled. We were glowing. We were happy. And then we started to be I will say I started to incorporate carbs back into my maintenance phase of Atkins. And I started incorporating, I'll just have one maple sausage biscuit from Dunkin' Donuts as I get my iced coffee in the morning. And then I was like, hey, I haven't gained any weight. I'll add another maple sausage biscuit 2 days a week. Surely 2 days is not going to hurt me. And 2 days turned into 3 days, 3 days turned into 5 days, 5 turned into 7,
Every
7
day.
turned into 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 20, 30, and
man.
100 pounds back on me over the next 10, 12 years. And then, I didn't even know I did know it because I was out of breath. I didn't feel good. I did not have the energy I have now. And she finally said, look, we got to do something. And so I said, well, the only thing I know what to do is to go back to keto. And she's, well, we need to do something. And we did. And it's just been, that was probably 3 years ago. And I have not looked back. Like I look at those pictures now and they're great reminders of a person who I never want to return to. And
you're lighter than me, same height, but lighter, I believe.
I'm 6'2" and I'm 195. I just weighed 195. So I'm 6'2" and 195.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got me. I hit 200 yesterday. You got me by 5 pounds, but you're taller than me. So,
but it doesn't.
Yeah, but the government will want you to be 160.
well, I have to go start doing crack, and then, but I'm not going to go do that. But 195, man.
Can we pass through these windows? Oh no.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. But 195, man, I tell you what, I'm never going back to where I was. I never want to be that person. I feel full of life these days. I want to go do stuff. I'm totally nowhere near that person before. So I'm back to my high school. Matter of fact, I am at my high school weight. I was 195 my senior year. So I feel great. So, you guys have the same lookout. You guys are impacting other people. And, that's why it's so important. Like Brian shares what he's been doing. And for the last, how many years now, Brian, have you been truly keto? Well, now no carnivore. How long have you been carnivore? 3 years, 2 years?
Well, like full on carnivore was right at the beginning of 2019, but I started
food porn.
But I got into keto probably around 2016. I started looking into it, but 2017 I started doing like the pescatarian version of keto, and then August of 2018 is the first time I ate meat after like 20 years or something. So
first time you ate meat? You didn't eat meat for 20 years? What'd you say?
Yeah.
Well, you were a vegan?
I was pescatarian. I ate fish.
No, yeah.
But it's basically
so did Jesus.
It's like a vegetarian with fish. But
yeah, well, Jesus ate fish, and he made a lot out of it, just a couple. He fed the multitudes with just a couple. So,
but what's up with chicken, Brian? I know you're a carnivore now, but what's wrong with chicken?
It's just not. It's not nutrient dense enough. It's like I want the biggest bang for my buck for my meal, and that would be just cutting it short for me.
Yeah.
How about turkey? Same thing?
Yeah. I mean, it tastes good and all, but if I'm gonna have a meal, I want something that's gonna count.
I'm being forced.
So it's not a taste thing. It's not a religious thing. It's just you're trying to get the most nutrient meat that you can get, and chicken and turkey just don't have it.
Yeah, and with chicken, it's like I like it, but you know, I can take it or leave it, so I
Yeah.
might as well leave it. But it's the other thing with chicken too is you know, you don't know where it comes from unless you're getting it straight from the farm. You don't know where that chicken's been, you know,
Right.
or how it's been, you know.
And they are sleazy birds.
And
So.
even yeah, and even when they say, you know, cage free or whatever, that doesn't mean anything. It means they're just shoved into a warehouse on top of each other, you know, and they're
Yeah.
all blown up with whatever they give them, steroids.
Steroids, yeah.
Growth
See, I don't
hormone.
think I could cuddle. I couldn't cuddle a chicken or a turkey,
Well,
but I could cuddle a cow.
meat birds are bred that way. They don't even have to be injected with steroids. So a meat bird, when you buy it at Tractor Supply, the chick looks just like all the other little baby chicks that are running around in the tubs. But a meat bird becomes a full-size chicken in 8 weeks, and they're bred that way. So at 8 weeks, if you don't slaughter the chicken, it literally will get so big that it would literally collapse on its legs, or it will have a heart attack. That's what happens.
GMO.
Kind of like the
Meat
average
birds are bred
American,
that way.
kind of like the average
GMO.
American.
That's GMO. They're shooting them up
Right.
with something.
Well, Jim, I wanted to follow up on what Brian said about the cholesterol, and just let people know if they're hearing that from people, whether it's their friends or family or
My wife.
a doctor or whatever, that they need to get educated on cholesterol, because like Brian was saying, if people are giving you one number and saying your cholesterol is high, and that's all they're doing, you can't just accept that, because there's HDL, there's LDL, there's LDL type A, there's LDL type B. B are the dense particles, they're bad. A are like the little fluffy particles, and they're fine. And if someone's not differentiating between that and doing the proper tests, and that's what your doctor's doing, then either you need to get some information to give your doctor, or maybe talk to another doctor. But don't just accept you have high cholesterol and you have to take a statin.
No,
Right.
Brian.
So
Brian did that. Brian went and got his own testing for that reason, because you know it is a little bit concerning when they throw those numbers. So tell about that, Brian.
Well, yeah, because they don't, you know, the way the insurance companies control everything, the doctors can't even order the proper tests. They have to just order the standard thing, which doesn't really tell you much. So, well, I don't even have insurance because it's useless to me. So I just take it upon myself to order my own labs every year. And the last time I had it done, I messed around with it though. What was it? Dave Feldman, one of those guys, one of those cholesterol guys, was talking about, well, if you do this, 3 days before your test, it'll, and I think it's for people that are trying to,
it's like getting weed out of your system.
or no, or like, you know, if you're trying to get insurance or something, or if your
Life
job is,
insurance. Yeah, your job.
yeah, or life
life
insurance, you don't
Yeah.
want the numbers to be, even though it doesn't mean anything, it does to them, you know, and you won't be able to get the insurance or whatever. So he was talking about how he did this experiment where he bumped up his saturated fat or did this and that, and to get these numbers to balance out. And so I thought, oh, maybe I'll try that, which is stupid because I was paying all this money for these tests. And I completely, oh, and the other thing I did wrong was I over fasted. You don't want to do that before a blood test because that'll mess it up. And, you know, I thought, well, if, you know, it says 12 hours and I thought, well, if 12 hours is good, then, you know, 18 or 20 is even better. And no, it's not, because it'll make everything look different. And so that last blood test I had was so out of line that I was like, wow, what's going on here? So I did another one just like a few months ago, and that one I actually went and got all the particle sizes and all that junk. I mean, I took the cholesterol part and had it broken down into all the things that you can look at. And
How do you do that?
Yeah, like what's the test?
well,
Where do you go?
I can send you a link. Well, it's, see, that your insurance won't pay for it though. That's the trouble.
I mean,
You
do you
have-
go to LabCorp or have them come to you? I mean, who pulls the blood?
Yeah, either LabCorp. That's where I went last time. The previous time. This time I went to Quest Diagnostics.
Oh, okay.
Because
Do you send it
So,
off
I
to
mean,
like
how much is
Everly
it?
or whatever
How,
that place is, or where do you send it off?
no, you just go there, they take
They
your
do.
blood, they run it, and they just send you the results.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
But every time I do that though, it's funny because I get the nurse calling, like leaving messages on my phone. Mr. Forsythe, would you please call us? We need to discuss these numbers with you. Like, I'll get the thing back and
You're about to die.
yeah, all my cholesterol numbers will be in red, and I'm like, they'll be calling.
What about your CAC? How do you know that? I've heard you say you have a CAC of 0. How do you know that? Is that also from the same blood test?
Oh no, you have to go. That's a separate thing. I had to go get that done, and it's fairly
what's
cheap.
CHD?
A CAC. It's
What's that?
calcium.
Calcium scoring?
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah,
I had a 0 too.
yeah. It's where you just lay on the table and they take you
Yeah,
through
you're
that
like
little round thing.
yeah, you're in that circle thing. It's like going for a CAT scan or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
like an
Yeah,
MRI
well,
machine
Lisa
type
and I
thing?
have both done that.
Well, see,
You
I
can do
did
that
that
for $100.
right, and I
Oh.
think I got it because I paid cash. I got
Yeah.
it for like $50 over here.
This
But,
other test you're talking about, how expensive is that? Means you're paying out of pocket.
it was close to $1,000. But
Holy
I don't have insurance, so I'm not
Yeah.
paying insurance premiums every month,
Right.
so it's worth it.
right.
Well,
I don't
I'm
pay
gonna
for
get
my
it done. I'm
insurance
gonna
because
let
Lisa
things
gets it
just
through her job.
I'm gonna let things just settle for probably another couple months because I'm still in a transition period. Um, I'm ready to break into that stage where my weight starts with a 1, and I'm right there. I'm 1 pound away from it. But I'm going to get there, and then I'm just going to kind of level out for a month or 2, and then I'm going to get all these labs done. I don't have insurance either, but I haven't had it in 10 years. So imagine the money I've saved. I surely can afford these tests at this point.
well, do you know that guy Ben Greenfield? I follow that guy too a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
this health guy, like this
Okay.
one of those crazy mad scientist, whatever. I don't even know what his title is, but he's got like a podcast and a website, and he actually has they have. That's why I went to Quest Diagnostics, because they have a group of tests that he put together that they offer.
Okay. Okay.
And, so
Like
that, huh?
like a panel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So this one is extensive on the cholesterol. It goes into the thyroid, like way into the thyroid, all the different things. And because usually that's another thing, it's very vague, and you only see like one of the numbers, and it doesn't
Right.
really tell you a whole lot. So yeah, this one goes into everything. It's a pretty
Yeah.
cool test. And I think
Dr.
there's
Barry's cholesterol's 350. He tells people all the time. He said it means nothing.
my LDL's 350,
Mm-hmm.
just the LDL.
Yep.
And that's
I'm sure
down.
that's what he's talking about.
It was up in the 600s the last time.
So I take a
That's when the
statin
nurse
every
was
day.
calling.
Yeah.
I take a statin every day, and I'm going to see my doctor the day after my birthday in December, and I'm planning on telling her I'm not going to take it anymore.
Do you know? Have I asked you your numbers?
I don't even know my numbers anymore.
Oh,
She
okay.
checks them, tells me I'm okay or whatever, and I just let it rip.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't take their word for it because they're trying
Yeah,
to
I
sell
know.
this stuff.
So, but I don't feel like I'm going to find out from them because they're going to only take the one stupid test.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm going to get anything that makes a difference anyway.
I-
But I feel like telling her I'm not taking it anymore because she asked me, "Do you take it every day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because you told me to." But guess what? Now I got some other information in my brain, and I think I'm going to stop because my brother tried
Yep.
to make me stop like 5 years ago.
Yeah, you should
So-
you should definitely get that book, Cholesterol Clarity, that Brian was talking about, and I think that's
Cholesterol clarity.
Jimmy Moore and Dr. Eric Westman, I think.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
I want my wife to check it out because hers was slightly elevated, and I've been pushing for her to do more protein and less carbs, and she won't do it. She's still losing weight. She's still doing great. She's fasting. She started fasting. We were talking about that. She actually started before I did, but she was just fasting and then eating kind of regular when she wasn't fasting.
well,
So
get that book.
she
Get that book.
she was losing. She's just losing slowly, but she's cut back. She's extended her fasts. She's done 20 hours. She's done 24. I have a thing I posted on my Facebook page. that a doctor actually explained every bit of how many hours when things start happening when you're fasting. Like 24 hours, you're starting to, your liver's starting to recover. It actually is helping your liver come back to life. And I mean, there was some amazing things. I mean, you know, just the things that I just checked through it and I said, well, I've done all those times. I don't care. So all that stuff's happening for me. So
Jim was saying that a liver can regenerate itself in a year. I mean, it's amazing what the human body can do. But remember when Lisa started losing the weight, she started looking good, and you called me up, and you're like, man, you should see what Lisa looks like. She's hot as hell. I'm chasing her all over the house. Remember that?
Bought a
yeah,
pair
and
of
I could actually chase her because
skates.
I was small enough to run. I was small enough to run. I didn't have to freaking walk on my arthritic ankles with all that fat ass that I had.
Well, you know, the
Yeah,
crazy
now I don't
part-
have any ass. She goes, you don't have any butt. And I said, you know what? That's another thing. I want to stay like this because I like skinny jeans.
There you go. Look at that.
I like it. It's
Yeah,
Levi's skinny jeans are my baby, man. I like
You
it.
don't have much
My
of a
stage
honey,
clothes
that's for
don't
sure.
fit anymore.
I'm sitting over here with a ghetto booty myself.
My freaking stage clothes are all baggy on me. I found a good seamstress though. I think I'm gonna have her take them all in.
Hey,
So,
where is she?
she's been doing shirts for me. Have you seen Rock and Soul and Rock Roll and Soul shirts? Have you seen those, Brian? They're all la-di-da crazy. They're expensive as hell, like $100 for a shirt. And it's skulls, like they got a Western one. It's got skulls up here, and it's a Western shirt, and under the cuffs, they're bad. I had 5 of them. They were all like double X's. It was like putting on a freaking tablecloth.
Hey, so Karl, why
So-
don't you plug your band? Where are you guys playing? Where are you guys playing?
Actually, Corrupt has got a show. We're playing in Ocean City at Crawl Street on the 22nd with Dave and Aubrey and I and Lee Smith, our singer, which we're excited. We've only played one other time this year, and it's a shame because Jimmy hooked me up with the skin company, and I rewrapped my drums, and they custom made my own blood drips, so it looks like my own thing. It looks like I axe murdered somebody on each bass drum. It's all dripping down the sides. But it's, you know, but I'm taking my little set and I'm actually going to I'm getting the Vampire Lips put on a single bass drum. I have to go get it picked up Saturday. And I cheat. I just get a big sticker, put it on. And then if I quit the band, I just heat it up and peel it off. So I'm just like, whatever.
There you go. Well, the 22nd, you guys go check out Corrupt. Give us the dates. We'll plug it in the show notes. But you know, I think
Crawl
we talked
Street.
about what's that? Go ahead.
It's called Crawl Street. It's called Crawl Street. It's close to the Bearded Clam, which most people can't forget that name. So
I remember that establishment. The study that was done back in the 50s, Brian, was Ansel Keys who did that study that really caused cholesterol to be accepted, that it was an issue and was the reason for cardiovascular disease and heart attacks. But what found out to be true was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but he did it for an extensive study for many countries, but then he broke it down to 7 countries and he threw away the data that did not back up what he was trying to push.
Yep.
And he was such a well-respected doctor, they accepted what he did, but he really did push that narrative in the 50s to back up that cholesterol was our enemy. And it's too bad because we're still trying to overcome that narrative that cholesterol is our enemy. And
yeah, well, yeah, he started out with it was I think 22 countries and then got it down to 7.
And one person. So my point is, if one person can make the medical, whatever you want to call that, recommendations corrupt, and no offense, Karl, but the reality of it is one person who can live out their life to prove that that was inaccurate data and can make an impact for those people in their sphere of influence. That's why I think if we could literally get behind No Carb November, we literally could change the world. And the fact that none of us here, at least the 3 of us, do not have health insurance. And somebody asked me that the other day, well, how much do you pay for health insurance? I said, oh, it's zero. How'd you do that? I said, well, I just don't buy it. My health insurance is what I eat. Food is my fuel. Food is what keeps me healthy. And I can tell you, and I can look at everybody out there, I can tell you, at 59 years old, I think I'm 59, somewhere's in there. I'm close to 59, if not 58, 60, somewhere's in there. I feel the best I felt in my adult life. I mean, I literally feel like I could run the streets back in the 20s. I mean, that's how great I feel. I have no the aches and pains. I don't have any of the issues that I had going through my 30s. While I was seeing a physician and a doctor and living by their take the skin off the chicken, limit your amount of eggs, all the crap that they've been programmed to tell you. And now Brian was sharing this with us last week that the governor of California is forcing physicians to have to stay within that certain parameter or else they can lose their license. So it's yeah, well, I hope people realize, and I think this year has really showed people that I think people are realizing that the establishment is not our friend, that they have an alternative motive. And so it really does take, as Dr. Kilt says, and Dr. Joan Iflin says, it's going to be a ground root revival with people living their life and finding out what really brings them true health. And, you know, I tell you what, tonight's been a great episode for the fact that I see the difference in Rob and Karl, and Brian was telling me about this for the longest time. And when we brought you guys on, but to bring you guys on together tonight, you can see the improvement more. Like you can see the health coming out of you. Like you truly are manifesting health. And those pictures that we're going to be posting up so people can see where you guys were. Yeah, Karl, your cheeks have never been so rosy.
My skin is smooth, baby. 60? Where are the wrinkles? I ain't got them.
Yeah.
Baby face.
Hey, Jim, were you going to show those pictures? Show those pictures I sent you of what Whale Boy and I looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we were two whales.
But that's the point. The point is we all have the power to take back our health individually. We do not need a government or a system to tell us we need to take this statin. We need to follow these guidelines. Well, these guidelines are crap. And the reason why we have obesity in the United States at the rate that we do, which we went over that last week, which even that number is probably bogus, right, Brian? 36% or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that are 36%.
It's up in the 70s.
Yeah, it's 2/3.
Probably more than that, because they still think I'm over 20 pounds, and that's considered obese, and I'm skinny as shit.
Yeah.
So I have no ass anymore. My wife goes, "You ain't got no ass." It's just like, it's like, hey guys, Jim, is this? Oh shit, you can't see it. Is it a blue covered book, Cholesterol Clarity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I can even get it on an audio book and listen in my car.
There you go.
Yeehaw.
Where you
go with my freaking membership.
There were two books that came out right around that time. There was the Cholesterol Clarity and then Keto Clarity, and those were the two that started me off.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull that one up too.
Hey Jim,
I want my wife to see the Cholesterol Clarity one.
Go ahead, Rob.
What would you say to people that, you know, get on me and Karl and other friends, you know, just saying things like we're not getting enough vitamins because all we eat is meat and this, that, and the other. We're not eating vegetables and fruit and this, that, and other. What would your answer be to that in terms of us not getting enough essential nutrients?
Well, what I would say is, why are you saying that? And what my guess is, it's come from somebody programming them to believe in that, which is part of the narrative of eating plant-based protein. But the reality of it is, our digestive system and our body wasn't meant to absorb vitamins from plant-based. They're just not. Yeah, you can get some, but really nutritional dense foods such as like a ribeye steak and eggs, our body was meant to receive our nutrients in such a pure natural organic form, that our body's able to absorb that, which is the reason why when you are truly living a carnivore lifestyle and you're processing food through your digestive tract, your body uses everything to repair and to refuel the body. And you do not have to go to the bathroom as much as you do when you're on a plant base, or you're eating the American standard diet and you're taking vitamin supplements and all the other crap you have to go along, because that's the problem with what the narrative they push about eating 5 to 7 meals a day, because you're eating food that's got empty calories that your body cannot break down and absorb and utilize. And that's why a carnivore goes to the bathroom, a bowel movement once or twice a week, because your body's absorbing everything that it needs. And when you can tell what kind of lifestyle you're eating is the fact that how many times do you go to the bathroom? Do you go to the bathroom 5 to 6 times a day? And maybe some people
After drinking.
Yeah, but
so when you're on that diet, what you're saying is you are getting a full spectrum of all the vitamins and nutrients that you need in that diet. That diet doesn't deplete you of, say, vitamin E or D or anything in particular.
No, and like we were talking about, go ahead, Brian, you're going to answer. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because plants have a lot of like anti-nutrients in them, where they'll block your body from absorbing certain things. So you need more of those things just to make up for that. So when you eliminate the plants, it's like your body, it's a lot easier for your body to absorb those things. And one example, like vitamin C, like the daily recommendation for vitamin C is based on a standard American diet, where you're hardly absorbing any from anything, and other things are blocking it, so you're not getting like the little that you're getting is very, it's a very small amount. But if you don't eat that stuff, it's like it's like the carbs. You need more vitamin C when you're eating carbs, but when you're not eating carbs, you don't need that much vitamin C, and there's plenty in the meat that the cows give you.
Okay.
And to a person looking at the amount, they'll think, oh, that's not enough, but it is, if because you're absorbing every bit of it.
Right. Either you or Jim put a picture up of a ribeye that had all the different aspects and vitamins, I think, that came out of a ribeye.
Brian. Yeah, Brian did that. Yeah, Brian did that.
I need to post that.
Yeah.
I'm going to share that because that's my Sunday meal. I have a ribeye every Sunday without fail.
Well, that's my every other day
and
meal.
bacon.
There you go.
It's like everything affects everything else. And it's like, that's the weird thing about, like say somebody's on a vegan diet and they think they're okay because they're taking all these supplements and vitamins, but the problem is, a vitamin by itself really means nothing. It's gotta be with the proper vehicle to deliver it to your body. And most of those vitamins you buy in the store are just made in a factory somewhere. They're not real, and if you eat a ribeye, it's all in that package. You get everything all together, and it's, the fat helps you absorb it, and everything's in there that you need to absorb those nutrients.
Yeah. And the taste. And the taste is in there.
And
oh my God. My food color is pink.
Brian said something a few weeks ago to me about, I said something about it being expensive to eat this way. And he basically said, if you're not buying all the other junk, you're probably not spending any more money. Well, I didn't know what I was spending because I don't really look when I swipe the credit card. So I don't remember what totals of anything are. It's like, Brian, when I asked you that day, you got 6 patties instead of 4 at Five Guys. I was like, oh my God, how much was that? You said, I don't know. I just swiped
$35.
So it's probably because it's 22 with 4 patties. So yeah, it would have been about $34. But so anyway, I went back after he said that and I started pulling out and looking at my Walmart receipts. And this is what I'm spending. I go every 2 weeks to the store. I spend $200 on food. So I cannot imagine that I was spending any less than $100 a week before. I'm spending $100 a week now, and I'm eating seafood, steak, protein, eggs, bacon, everything. And it's costing me $100 a week. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I found, my freezer downstairs, my extra freezer is completely full and
Uh-huh.
of meat. So I'm stocked up. I mean, I could
When are
stop
you
down.
having us over?
I do have about 5 briskets down there, but
Oh man.
What a shocker. I would never have imagined
Wow.
you had brisket down there.
Brisket.
The
But-
brisket king.
The Five Guys Bowl has got a new name. It's called the Brian Bowl.
The
Yeah.
damage bowl. It's the damage
I
bowl.
go for a Brian Bowl. That's what I go for, man.
And the
I
fries
love
have
going
a
to
new
Five
name. It's
Guys.
called the
The
Shannon
meat.
Bowl.
I tell all my friends, I said, you're wasting your time with the bread. You
yeah,
will not believe how good it tastes without the bread.
they'll-
I had a buddy of mine go with me. He had never done it, and he's got diabetes too. And I said, if you will eat like me, you won't have it anymore.
right.
If you freaking eat like me, it will go away. You won't take the medication. You'll be done. So
And
he took
every
me
single
to see
time you
Elton
order
John.
it, what do they say? Allergy or food preference? Just
We
give
went
me
to
the
see Elton
burgers.
John, and we had Five Guys before that. And he goes, I'm buying you dinner. I said, it's going to be expensive. I got the double Brian Bowl.
Well, the cool thing is that people don't realize, and Dr. Kiltz pushes this out of all the doctors out there, but Dr. Kiltz teaches you that plants want to kill you. It's basically animals versus plants. I mean, that's the war. Plants release a toxin, and just like they have blockers that block you from being able to absorb what they can potentially be giving you. And when it goes through the 4 digestive stomachs of a cow, the cow is able to break that down. And then when you're eating the cow, your body's able to absorb every bit of it. So the cow really is part of the process. It's part of life. And so, people want to, I got nothing against people wanting to be a vegetarian or a vegan or whatever your preference is. But the reality of it is those plants want to kill you, and they will. And that's why over time you see very little data on people who remain vegans or vegetarians over a long period of time that do not start to have health issues with their body breaking down. And it's breaking down for that exact same reason. Those plant toxins are meant to kill you. And so,
Right. And besides the plant toxins, you got the fertilizers. Brian was talking about this 2 weeks ago on this show about glyphosate.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
sprayed on everything. So big food pushes the grain-based products because they're cheaper to make. So they're getting all that stuff out there. And the kids all over the country are being raised on oatmeal, cream of wheat, and cereals. Everything that's grain-based, they're digesting this glyphosate,
Mm.
which experts said could not get into your brain. But now evidence is out there that it actually is penetrating the blood-brain barrier, and it's showing up in autopsies. And it's a factor, they think, in the epidemic of dementia. So it's a huge thing, these pesticides and everything else. That's another thing you don't have to worry about with carnivore-based diet. And I wonder if people, Jim, in Europe, they seem healthier than here. Do they eat different? I mean, do they not have the pesticides? Do they not have the government controlling the food industry like it does here? I mean, what's different over there that it seems like that they're healthier? What's
Yeah.
up with that?
Well, I've been over there, and what's weird? I haven't been there since I started eating meat, so it's going to be interesting. But
And why are you going? And why are you going over there, Brian? Tell everybody why you're going over to Europe again.
Well, with Rhino Bucket, we're planning on going in January. But before I get off track, the first thing I noticed when I ate over there was like it just tasted better, and it turns out that they have a lot. They're a lot stricter when it comes to stuff like pesticides and
Interesting.
the organic thing. Their food is just better, especially. Oh man, I don't know. I can't wait to try the meat next time.
Do they eat
Have
3
you been to
times a day
Japan?
like Americans, or do they have different habits? Do you know?
Yeah,
Different countries are different. Like Spain, Spain, I think they sleep all day and they get up late. So,
Sounds like my kind of place.
when we go on a tour over there, usually the promoter will take us out to dinner after sound check. And Spain, the restaurants don't even open till like 9.
At night?
Yeah, they eat way late, which is weird to me.
Wow.
So used to eating like in the early afternoon, but so Spain's like that. But then other places, yeah, a lot of the whole, the Western diet thing has sort of permeated everywhere now too. It's not as pure as it used to be, especially with the fast food and all that.
But
But
go ahead, Brian. I was going to say, we had that guest on long time ago. She was a nutritionist, Mary Ruddock. You remember her? And she was overseas, like in Greece. And she was putting together, she was working on a documentary, but she said, you'd be surprised at what people literally eat over there. But, I think probably a lot of it has to be that the food that they're growing is more pure. It's more farmer's market type of market. You go to purchase your food. They use fresher ingredients. And over here in the United States, it's let's spray the fields. Let's use chemicals. Let's use hormones and GMO, all that stuff to modify our food. And we're not even eating real food anymore. So if you don't have a true food source that you're going to, so you're eating real meat, as opposed to steroid and hormone injected beef, or growing it yourself, eggs that you're free ranging from a local farm, like what's your Annie farm that you go to, Brian, and get your fresh.
Annie Acres.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't go there anymore. I found a new duck lady.
Oh, okay.
But like a cat lady.
This duck lady got
full of ducks.
Yeah, I think she's got like 100 ducks or something. No, I think she's down to 25.
I had something that I came to me while you guys were talking that I've been wanting to ask, because people have been giving me grief about that, about the red meat. What about all that they say that they find people that they have all this undigested red meat in their stomachs? That's not true, right?
That's a myth. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Really,
that's what I thought, because I'm being hit with this.
The stuff that ends up
hitting me.
The stuff that ends up in your gut that doesn't digest are the vegetables and the fiber. That's the stuff that sits there and ferments and rots, but the meat gets absorbed in your small intestines before it even gets to your colon, which is weird because they also claim that meat will give you colon cancer. Like, what? It doesn't even go that.
That's another one. That's another one. All the red meat's going to give you colon cancer. Man, so I told Lisa, I said, I'm going to see the doctor. And if she says I got to change my diet, she can up my statin, and I won't take that one either. I'll make her happy by telling her I'll take it, and I won't. And then I'm just going to go on about it and see how this really goes, because I'm feeling healthier. I don't see how this could be giving me a problem.
No, it shouldn't.
I can't. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. I can't.
Trust yourself. Trust your inner voice.
They're trying to make me believe this is bullshit. And I'm like, no, this is not. So I have this German guy I work with. He's a quality control dude. And I call him Geppetto because he reminds me of Pinocchio's father. So he's this little German dude. He's got the funny voice and everything. And he's asking me about the diet. And I'm telling him, oh. And he gets with his accent and everything. Him and his wife are going to go back to taking some sort of hormonal injection into their stomach instead of eating like this. And I'm like, what? It's not even FDA approved. You got to get it from some other country. And you shoot yourself up with a pregnant woman's hormones. It supposedly stops, it burns your fat, whatever. That's what my brother was talking about it many years ago. And I'm like, dude, are you out of your freaking mind? You're just going to shoot something in your stomach that somebody's going to send you through the mail. It could be freaking Agent Orange. You don't even know what the hell it is. I was like, man, come on. No. So I'm telling this guy, and he's like, I said, dude, I'm eating meat, a lot of protein, almost no carbs. He just could not grasp it. And then I have other people that are like, oh, I'm going to do your diet. Oh, I'm going home tonight and I'm having conch with pasta. I said, then you're not doing my diet.
Right. I can't
eat the conch and dump the pasta. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Are you people retarded? If it's white, don't eat it.
I heard someone say the other day,
no bread, no pasta, no milk.
That go in our body. There's only 3 things that go in, and it's either carbohydrates, protein, or fat. Everything falls into one of those categories.
Yeah. I mean, I know one thing. I get up in the morning and I have a little stick of butter, and I have my bulletproof coffee, and then I eat anywhere between probably 12, sometimes 11:30 on an early day. If I got something going on, anyway from 11:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's it. I eat one time, and I'm not a slave to that food addiction, that 5 to 7 meal that most Americans have become accustomed to. And they become accustomed to it because that food that they're eating has no nutritional value. So your food is literally, your body's literally starving itself. You may be eating, whatever the American standard diet is, but it has no true nutritional value. So your body is starving. So you go out there and eat more, and more to try to keep yourself alive, because we are survivors. But all that excess crap gets stored into places we don't like for it to be stored. And that's why we got a lot of people walking around that's obese, dealing with health issues, because your organs are the body's resilient. The body wants to make sure you survive. But we're constantly feeding it the wrong crap. And that's why when we feed it back what our caveman families used to do, our bodies respond the same way that they did back then. And that's why, you don't care what somebody says anymore. At least I don't, because I know how I feel. I know how I'm living my life now. And a doctor could tell me whatever. I'm not going to believe them, because I'm believing myself, because myself feels better living this life. It makes sense to me. And I have a sense of peace knowing that I'm doing this. And the end of story for me. So that's why, if you're listening to this and you're not inspired by Brian or Karl or Rob, and seeing the transformation and the energy that they're exhibiting, then compare that to the 3 doctors who have told you to eat the American standard diet 5 to 7, and you tell me who looks better and who has more energy, and be truthful with yourself. Because I think if you truly will give No Carb November a try, you literally are going to change your life and change what's possible. And it all starts with something that Brian always tells us. So, okay, go ahead.
Before we go,
Brian. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something. I heard this great podcast this week, and it was from, like, what was it, September 23rd. It's a Joe Rogan episode with this guy named Brigham Bueller. And it's man, it's fascinating. If you guys are interested, it's really long. Let's see, how long is this thing? It's like 2 hours and 34 minutes, but it's worth the listen.
Send it.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, but just real quick, it's about this guy. He started out really young, in his early 20s, as a pharma rep, and he was his first drug that he had to push was the Cialis, the the other alternative to Viagra. So he said, well, that was a fun one because everybody was interested, and he didn't have to really push it, but it got him in the door. And he talked about his life as a drug rep, and how they just pushed him out there, but he explains the whole big pharma, the insurance, and it's really, the insurance is, like, I always blame big pharma, but big pharma is actually controlled by insurance as well, and it's all based on quarterly numbers. And so all these drug companies, they have to keep hitting those numbers to keep the Wall Street people happy. And that has nothing to do with the drug helping anybody. It's how much they can sell. So anyway, it's really an eye-opening podcast. I just stumbled onto it, and it was like it took me 3 days to get through it, but it was worth it. I was listening to it on my drive, like this past weekend, when I was going back and forth from the airport. But anyway, yeah, I'll send the link, and so you guys can check that out.
And before your closing phrase, Jim, you need to show them what Rob and I used to look like.
I'm going to
That picture I sent you with all four of us.
I will post that.
Because then the people that are seeing this will see what how we've changed.
Absolutely. And so, Brian, these are your people who have followed what you have done. So people who are watching this show for the first time, what is it that you have done that makes the biggest difference in your life and how you live it out? What would you recommend?
My advice would be eat your meat.
And we would all absolutely agree with that. Now, where's Kix?
100%.
Absolutely. So is Kix playing anytime this week, or are you guys off?
Yeah, we're Penn's Peak on Saturday.
Oh, awesome. All right.
So.
Well,
I will be seeing you. I will be seeing you at Merry Kixmas.
Okay.
I'll be there. I'll be up there in December.
Cool.
Jimmy called me, goes, dude, let me know when you want to come. I said, how about Kixmas? I know I'll be around then. So we'll get our picture then.
All right.
We got to redo the skinny picture. So I don't look like God, I looked ridiculous in that other picture. Oh my God. How embarrassing.
Well, listen, that's not you anymore. That's not you anymore.
Yeah,
It's not. Thanks to you.
That person.
Thanks to you very, very much.
Well, hey, Karl, Rob, thank you, brothers, for joining us again. It's been a blast. And next time we're going to do
anytime.
We're going to do a live Friday night show with Karl one of these times. So we'll make it live.
Thanks for having us back. We appreciate it.
Brian might turn his computer off after a little while. He might just go, oh God.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks for joining in.
You see me backstage at M3 a few times when I was gone. And so
well, we'll see everybody next Friday night. In the interim, stay safe, stay well, stay kind, and stay out of that hospital, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
See y'all.
Sorry. I'm messing everything up.